Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name is Jason Newland. This is Let Me Bore You to Sleep, or for short, LMBYTS. I remember the YTS bit. Let me be LMBYTS. LMBYTS. The reason why I remember the YTS, because I used to be on the YTS scheme when I left school, which is the youth training scheme. It was supposed to replace apprenticeships, to make it a little bit easier for people to have an apprenticeship, because I don't know, it was kind of that thing. But a lot of employers took advantage of it, the scheme, because it gave people an opportunity, like employees, not all, but some employers got people on a YTS scheme, and they paid them like £27 a week for the first year and £35 a week for the second year, with 1 day at college. So the person would end up with a qualification at the end of it, but at the same time they'd be getting paid a knout, and it wouldn't be the same level really of qualification, I would say, as I suppose it would be as an apprenticeship. Because if you was a YTS with an electrician or with a plumber, all that stuff, so you're going to have the same experience as someone that's on an apprentice scheme. So it's kind of the same thing. I worked in a chip shop. Now, the training to work in a chip shop wasn't a lot of training really. It didn't take 2 years of training to fry fish and chips. You know, it's not something I could just walk into and know how to do it, with all getting the fish ready and getting the, all that stuff. I couldn't just walk in and know what to do. But I'm pretty certain that after about a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months even, full time, I would be pretty much consistent in every aspect of that job. Not needing 2 years. So, yeah. Let it go, JJ. I can't. So, please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. So let me bore you to sleep. I'm not making a video of this. The reason why. Here's the reason. I did a video yesterday, which was Sunday papers. I'm probably not going to do the Sunday papers anymore because I've got rid of the app. I can't afford the app to read off the papers. So I did a video, made a video. It was in 6 parts because of the interruptions. I kept stopping it and starting it. So instead of just having it play all the way through and then having to find a way to edit it, it's much easier if I just stop every time there's an interruption. Makes it easier to edit in a video. I ended up talking for nearly 2 hours. And I'll just give you an idea. There's 14 hours left of uploading to YouTube. This was without all the hours it took to upload it onto the server and to get it to a point where I could edit it and then process it. I started all this last night, and I've been doing it since 6 o'clock this morning. It's now 12:30. Admittedly, I don't have to do much with it. It's now uploading. I ain't got to touch it. Just make sure that I don't close the iPad while it's uploading. But it's a proper faff. It really is. It's just like, I know, maybe what I'll do is the occasional video, and the rest of the time I'll just upload recordings, just the standard recordings to YouTube, the audios. I don't know. So I have made a few changes. Oh yes. So what I've done is, I was going to get rid of my website completely, but I've decided to keep it. I've given it a fair bit of thought, and I decided to keep it. So I've reduced the amount I'm paying out now, which is good. According to this, it's got 2,900 episodes on my website. It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. Where is it? So I've got... So I'm paying $22 a month. I don't know if that includes tax, but it allows me to have 50 podcasts per site. It also allows me to... Well, I don't need 50. I did have about 150 before, so I've deleted those. And those are the ones where it was broken into 50. So playlists. So I had to kind of get rid of the playlists. So I have updated my website. I did that this morning. Well, I started doing it yesterday. So the website's pretty much the same. So you've got contact, Facebook group link, YouTube link, PayPal link, reviews. There's a link to the podcasts. So that's all the same as what it was before. Requested recordings, Q&A Friday, Let Me Bore You to Sleep, Pain Away, which is a Let Me Bore Your Pain Away, Whisper for the whisper recording, Smoking, Boring Objects, Stress and Panic. So there's a few links there. At the top of the page, there's a list of all the different podcasts which are in a like carousel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's 13 podcasts. And so apart from that, it's just the same as what it was before. But it just doesn't have playlists anymore. I've also changed, because I was talking about this before, because I haven't been happy with the stats, but for some reason when I've got linked to SoundCloud, everything linked to SoundCloud, I get way more downloads than what I do otherwise. So what I've done, Vinny's trying to chase a fly. We are getting bombarded with flies right now. Really, a lot of flies. And I was having my breakfast earlier. I put the bowl down. I don't know what I was doing. I think I might be scratching my knee or something. And I looked over to the bowl and there was a fly on one of my breakfast cereal bits. So I got rid of the breakfast cereal bit, chucked it to Vinny. He didn't want it. I'm not eating it. Flies been on it. Fair enough. Which is weird considering what I've seen him eat off the floor when we've been out. I mean, there's nothing he won't eat off the floor. I mean, it's grim. But I try and give him a nice fresh packet of dog food. Ugh. Anyway, so what I've done is I have moved my podcasts to SoundCloud. So there's the Hypnosis of Sleeping Deeply, in brackets Jason Newland. So that's the for that one. I've also got the Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Now, I did this yesterday, in the evening, I think, and I ended up with over 10,000 downloads yesterday. Today so far today, I've had just under 2,000 on that podcast. So I'm kind of quite happy with the way that's going. And I'm just going to move over to the other website, the other SoundCloud. It's a lovely day outside today. I've not been able to go out. And you might think, why is that, JJ? Well, let me tell you. The builders, so my neighbours' builders, I was supposed to let them in today. My neighbour gave me the key to let them in, and they haven't turned up. And it was supposed to be at 8 o'clock, and it's now 12:35. And I don't know what to do. I mean, they should have been here by now, shouldn't they? If they were coming, they probably would have been here. So what I'll do, if they haven't turned up by the time I finish this recording, which will be, I don't know, 1:30 or 1 whatever, well, I'll go out then, because I'm not sticking around. Honestly, it's such a lovely day. I should be getting ready for the second WALK of the day, but I took him in the garden. Right, Let Me Bore You to Sleep has now got connected as well. So last night, I had 3,650 plays, and today so far 1,094 plays. So the stats just rose. I don't know, it's weird. And I also had 900 plays on Spreaker as well. So it's quite a big day. Bearing in mind the best I've had for ages was probably about 5,000-6,000 for the whole lot, which is probably the best I've had in a year. So yeah. However, I've not got rid of Spreaker. The podcasts on my website are the podcasts on Spreaker. So when you go to my website and you click on the Stop Smoking, for example, there's the recordings that are on Spreaker on there. Or if you go to the Bedtime Story Times, that's the podcast on Spreaker. I've deleted a lot of stuff from Spreaker that I don't need anymore, with the hope, because I've actually cancelled Spreaker, but I want to downgrade it to a lower price, because that's the only way I can do it. They won't let me. They'll let me upgrade. They don't want to let me downgrade. Won't let me downgrade for some reason. So I've had to cancel, and then when it comes to an end, I can then rejoin, and to a smaller price. So it runs out on the 2nd of June. So I'm going to try and get it back down to $20 a month. Still, it seems quite a lot, to be fair. I'd like to get it down to less. No. We'll see. $10 a month, 50% off. So it might end up being $20 a month. So hey, it's for the website, I suppose it's better than $55, isn't it? I suppose. So that's it. That's not very exciting information. Maybe. I think it's rather exciting. So yeah, I'm quite pleased in a way, because just the recordings, I'm getting more downloads than I would normally get for each recording, which is nice. Yeah, it's just nice to have that. Look, Jason, Just on Newland. Oh, no. What's that? Weird picture. Oh, it's me. It's my face. Just on Newland. So, for example, I've only, what was it, about 3 hours ago, maybe 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 2 hours ago, I uploaded, I managed to upload the recordings to SoundCloud because I was finally able to get the audio and make a podcast. And for one of the podcast episodes of the yesterday's, I've already had like 297 plays just from one, which is just way more than I would get in 3 hours or 2 hours. So yeah, I might sound like I'm going on a bit, but I just, Vinny's definitely drinking a lot more recently. I've noticed something about him. When he can see that we're about to go OUT, he runs to his bowl and drinks as much as he can. It's almost like I've got to have a little refill, make sure I've got enough wee to last me for the whole journey. Because he likes to spray, doesn't he? All over the place. Bless. So I don't know if I've got any messages, any massages. So SoundCloud, YouTube. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. It's just weird. I think I did get a message on YouTube. Someone posted, "I miss when you speak to the camera." And then I'm going to try to sleep to that now. So this was from Saturday's recording. I miss when you speak to the camera. I know it's more. You hear that? It's the old plane. I don't know why. I remember my dad came round. I think it was like a couple of months into me moving there, and I was moaning about the plane, and he said, "Oh, I love the sound. That sounds lovely. I love that sound." I said, like, yeah, you're here for an hour, listen to it all day, then tell me you like it. I had 10 years, and it's like, I'm just moaning, and I just moaning. That doesn't bother me, actually. I don't care. Well, why did you mention it then? Who knows? Let's see if I've got any messages. Let's go to Facebook. See what's on there. What's on there? My friend, you have access to a new message on... Okay. So let's have a look at that. New message on... Oh, okay, that was from Corina. Is it Corina or Corina? I don't know. I don't know. Anyone? I don't know. I don't like mispronouncing people's names by accident. I prefer to do it on purpose. It's like, it's more fun that way. But if I do it accidentally, it's like, oh. I'm sure I had a message. Maybe it's on the group. I've got a group. Jason Newland's boring group. Let's have a look. So. Jackie sent a message yesterday, or posted something, no, an hour ago, sorry, not yesterday. Hi Jason, I've been really missing you, just talking and chatting, maybe about mundane subjects, but it never feels that way. Plus it gets one's visual imagination going. Maybe that's why it works so well for getting off to sleep. To be honest, I feel like I'm listening to a lesson or a lecture when I just hear all these facts listed. And I really miss the human element, which is you. I hope you understand. Please come back and share your day today with us. P.S. Would love to hear more about Horace. Horace the pigeon. So I don't know. I mean, I thank you for the message. The post. I don't know. I think I try and please everyone, and it's very difficult. I got people that say they love the Whisper. Got people that say they love the Trivia Tuesday. They love the boring objects, or the Sunday papers. And different people like different things. And I suppose I was trying to add some kind of structure to a very unstructured podcast, I guess. I mean, I'm guessing you're talking about the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, not the Let Me Bore Your Pain Away, because that's a separate, a completely different thing to this. Trivia Tuesday, I mean, it is a list of things, isn't it, really, I suppose. Monday's boring objects. I kind of just, so I forgot it's Monday. I can't even bother to do a boring object, so I'm just going to chat. It's just hard. It's so, if I asked, I did this ages ago, like what would you like? I put a list of the different podcasts, and I just got different responses. And so that's why I kind of broke up the days. I thought I'd do this day, this other day, Q&A Friday, which is the really regular one that I've stuck to, and I will stick to Q&A Friday, because I enjoy doing it, and it gives you a chance to ask me questions, and there's a degree of stability in that, I suppose. Regularity. Trivia Tuesday is, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, when I first started doing these recordings, Molly will tell you, because I think, and anyone who was around back then. I mean, Jackie, you might have been around back then. I don't know. I lose track of. I mean, there's so many people that sent me messages and reviews, and back in 2020, 2019, 2021, that I've not heard of since. I've got stuff posted on my wall because I printed them out, and just to kind of remind me that maybe I'm doing something worthwhile, and it's yeah, I don't know. I mean, you think, well, you don't think, but when I think back to 2007, between 2007 and 2010, I had a completely different audience to probably what I've got now. And it wasn't just YouTube, it was podcasts as well. And I don't know if any of those people are still listening. And then I seem to have a different audience between 2010 and 2015, or 2018 even. It's kind of, I don't know, 2010, 2014, that's kind of seemed to have a different audience. Then to between 2014, 2018, that was very much podcast only. But I felt like I was a little bit in nowhere land, really, in a sense. Kind of a bit, I was doing stuff, but I didn't have any particular kind of thing that I was focusing on. And then 2018, when I started doing the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, it was very much probably the first time I really felt maybe it sounds a bit cliched, like found my voice, but it seemed like this fitted me, this style of just talking, just chatting, as Jackie says, just chatting. And it took the pressure off not kind of having to be all hypnotic and all that stuff, because I love hypnosis, but there's different ways of doing it, and the way that I've progressed or regressed, depending on how you look at it, the way that I've changed over the years is so that's the thing. I'm trying to be more structured, but when in fact I'm actually less structured than I used to be. I used to be very structured with the hypnosis techniques, with the hypnosis recordings. It's not that I'd work out what I was going to say before I said it, because I didn't. But I would sometimes think of a technique. So it'll be simple. For example, I don't know, like a melting marshmallow on a sunny day. Yeah, that kind of thing. Sort of, and it's okay, that's going to be the stress. That's going to be someone's stress, like a marshmallow just melting slowly and becoming all gooey, and you can just watch it melt. You know, as an example. Or, you know, with like chronic pain, I'd be focusing on, think, okay, let's do a jigsaw puzzle. Let's imagine there's a jigsaw puzzle of that part of the body. That one part of the body. You know, so the jigsaw puzzle of your arm or your shoulder or your knee or your wherever. And then just start to take a couple of pieces out, one piece out first. And so, you know, I'd be in a coffee shop and I just write down these little ideas that I had for future sessions. And then sometimes what I'd do, and you know, this is going back no, a long time, 2012, 2011, 13, and I would decide, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to focus on the clouds. You know, imagine laying down on the grass, looking up at the clouds, and the clouds form different words like relax and calm, peaceful, you know, just that as an example. And so, you know, I'd think, okay, I've got that written down. I'm just going to do that recording and I'll just talk and do that. But I would do it very structured. I'd do it very hypnotically and do it in a kind of a process, you know, where I'd like, okay, well now we start off focusing on different parts of your body, and you don't need to try and relax your shoulders. Just allow your shoulders to feel however they feel, and just moving down. And then it was kind of the same thing every time. And there's a little bit, I know the tedium is quite good for the listeners, I suppose, but the tedium, I didn't enjoy the tedium of it. The repetition was a little bit boring for me. Not boring, it's not the right word. Unstimulating. And when I'm doing something that I would class as maybe kind of a therapeutic recording, I need to be stimulated mentally to do it. If it's going to be not like like I'm on like I've eaten too much orange squash, too much pop. I'm running around the garden yelling. waving a stick, pretending I'm a Viking. You know, I don't mean that's what I used to do. You know, obviously it's a long time ago. I mean, at least 3 months. So, but now, it's like I started to discover, and this was what, 2012, about 2012 time. I started to discover a new way of doing things for me, and that's what led to this. So the new way of doing things for me was, and I used to do this in between counselling sessions, not during the counselling session, of course, that would be weird, but I used to do it in between. So if I had sometimes I'd have a slot where either there was no one to see because I hadn't changed it over yet, so I had 3 hours in a row or 4 hours in a row, and it'd be 50-minute hours, and then I'd have 10 minutes, you know, between clients. Sometimes it'd be an hour, sometimes it'd be 2 hours during that period, and I'd have to be in a building because we didn't do soul working. So if there was another counsellor there always had to be another counsellor, at least 2 counsellors in the building in 2 different offices, just in case they were needed. So if I had a spare slot, which I did occasionally, sometimes people didn't turn up as well, I would film myself with my iPhone, and I started a thing called Hypnochats. So I had that in my mind. I was just going to talk like this, you know, like just talk about the day, talk about how I've got on, talk about what's going on, and then ease very, very subtly, very, very slowly, very into relaxation and hypnosis. And I did a few of those. I think I did about 30 of those, and I enjoyed that more than the straight hypnosis sessions. It was more fun, but I suppose it's because I got to talk about myself, which is, some would argue, a little bit egotistical to want to talk about myself all the time. But hey, fair enough. There's worse things to be called. And I've heard lots of things that I've been called over the years. And, oh, you just like listening to your own voice. Yeah, if you had a voice like mine, wouldn't you want to listen to it? Yeah, baby. I don't know. It's just, it got me thinking. I thought, well, you know what? I like this, but I did put it on a back burner. I mean, they were fairly popular-ish on my YouTube channel. Fairly, and then I mean 2013, or was it 2014 is when I got rid of the YouTube channel, that YouTube channel, and then I focused really just on podcasts. And then I started doing was it Hypnotic Buffet? Oh no, I started doing thinking out quietly. So instead of thinking out loud, thinking out quietly, and I would just, not whisper but softly spoken, talk about how I was feeling, talk about what's going on in my life. And I quite enjoyed doing that. But also during that period I was also doing Jason Chats, where you could argue there's not a lot of difference between the Jason Chats and these. Although with the Jason Chats I would go a little bit more personal. about my life. I'd talk about probably more serious things, more like real life stuff that was going on, which I don't really mention in the Let Me Bore You to Sleep because it's supposed to be relaxing. I've been watching the Wicked, and what I struggle with Wicked is it's new songs. Now, I realise it wouldn't be new songs if I'd listened to the album and watched the stage show or listened to, this been around for 20 years or whatever. But it's new songs, and I'm used to the Wizard of Oz. We're off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And it's just, I don't know, it's a good movie. It's really nice and it's visually lovely, and the singing's great, of course, but I it's new, and I've got to get used to new songs because I'm not sure if Grease, the movie, came out now. I'm not sure I'd like it. Now, I realise Grease, the movie, would be a very, very outdated type of movie these days. In fact, it wouldn't even get past the censors now, would it? Probably it'd get banned probably because it's got naughty words, which is ironic considering some of the horror movies. But it wouldn't be like probably classed as family entertainment for a Sunday afternoon on telly, although it is shown on Sunday afternoon, so maybe. Yeah, I've just absolutely obliterated my own thought pattern there, didn't I? Some of the shows that they show, like on some of these weird channels, obscure channels, where they show old shows from the 70s and the early 80s, sometimes from the 60s, and I always put a disclaimer. Some of the ideas and the language pertains to outdated, very outdated, how it used to be back then, and it kind of covers them, I suppose, because there's some of the languages, it's just the wording, some of the wording would be very different to how it is, to what you would get away with now in a mainstream sitcom. But the thing is, one of the things about the British sitcoms is they would be... So, think about Alf Garnett, right? Till Death Do Us Part, and in Sickness and in Health. The same programme, but one's when they're younger and one's when they're older. I think one started in the 60s and then the other one carried on till the 90s, during the 90s. And it was Alf Garnett. It started off with him and his wife and his daughter and the son-in-law. I don't know if they were in the second show they did. But eventually his wife passed and he moved into this flat or whatever, and there was a woman upstairs, and but he was a bigot. That was the joke, really, was that he was a bigot about pretty much everything. But he was also a coward. But he wasn't really as bad as what he made out. A friendly bigot. And it was kind of weird because it appealed to different people. So his rants would be sexist, racist, homophobic, all that stuff, everything you could think of. He would have a rant about it. And then they'd have other characters making fun of him for being how he was. So I think you had two different areas of people laughing. Those that were laughing at the things he was saying, thinking, like, because it was funny, and maybe there was people watching it who were racist and homophobic and whatever, that were actually like, laughing at that. And then other people were laughing at the fact that he was just saying it, like how ridiculous, especially in some of the scenarios. And then you got people laughing at him being made fun of. And they even did that in the 60s, making fun of his rants. So they'd struggle to show that during the day. I think they sometimes show it at night, late at night, on some of these little channels. And it was hugely popular, really popular. But it was very much, it wasn't just one-dimensional. You know, even there was Love Thy Neighbour, about a Caribbean couple moves in next to a couple of Londoners. I think it was in London. Caucasian Londoners. And he starts off being racist to the Caribbean man. The woman becomes friends with the other wife. He ends up being best friends with the bloke next door. They end up being best friends. But it starts off with him being basically bigoted. And then he ends up protecting and defending his friend from other bigots. So it's quite, in a way, quite educational. But people got a chance to laugh at racist stuff. So it kind of catered for everyone. Those that wanted to laugh at offensive stuff, but also those that wanted to laugh at people that were being like that. So it was both. I mean, I heard this argument between comedians, some saying that Alf Garnett, they laughed at Alf Garnett because they were laughing at the racism. They were laughing at him. But I think the argument, I saw two comedians, and one said, no, they were laughing with him. They found what he said funny. So they were racist. But then but the other one is laughing at him for being like that. So it's very clever humour, but it would not go down so well these days. But it was clever the way they did it, because they made him look stupid. Like Alf Garnett, he looked ridiculous on pretty much every occasion. But the weird thing about it, he was spurting this stuff that the average person in the street possibly was spurting out in the pub. You know, a bit like today with, various things. I'm sure wherever you live, there's going to be those, you hear the same thing. Because people that are like that, they're not original. They don't have any kind of originality with what they say. They just regurgitate what they've heard other people say without any kind of research done at all. Well, I saw it in the paper. Yeah, I've seen a lot of things in the paper. And anyone over the age of 10 years old that believes what's in the paper really needs to go back to school. I mean, to be fair, if you're 11 years old, which you are over 10 years old, and you believe it, you're going to be going back to school anyway, aren't you? Because you're still at school. But yeah. Oh, I saw it in the paper, so it must be true. I saw it on the news, on the telly. Okay. It's weird. I tell you what's really weird. AI, man. AI. There's a scam on Facebook where it's I forget what it is. I saw it on there, and it was actually, it looked so real. So real. It wasn't real, but it looked real. And they were offering something like a free, was it a free laptop or something like that? And it wasn't. It just wasn't real. I clicked on it. I didn't get my laptop, that's what I'm saying. But it was, they actually had like celebrities talking on here, on this thing, and it wasn't them. But it didn't half look like the celebrities that were supposed to be doing. And so it is, I'm kind of well, not lucky. I'm not into the fakery AI stuff. Oh, this is funny. 45 billion found a Nigerian man's flat. He spent 10 years trying to get rid of it, but no one answered his emails. That's funny. That's another one. I remember my friend, he went on to, he kind of got Facebook. He hadn't been on Facebook really for a long, long time. So he went onto Facebook after years of not being on it. And he started seeing these really dumb posts that you can sometimes get. And I remember one he saw, and it was like saying, what was it? Something about, oh yeah, if you don't repost this post, if you don't share this post, repost it, then you don't care about this disease or whatever this condition is. Then you don't care. I know who will post it and who won't. And I remember my friend saying, yeah, how, like, and he was like agreeing with the post, like, yeah, they've got to repost. Like, no, this is just an old guilty thing that's this. It doesn't. I don't know what the words I've got for that don't include expletives. I just find those posts just annoying. Annoying. I know who will post this and who won't post it. Maybe it's after, how many years has it been since Facebook's been going? It's a long time. Oh look, the perfect jean, stretchy jeans. There's so many of these adverts now, like the perfect t-shirt. Doesn't matter if you've got a big belly, it doesn't show in the t-shirt. Now they've got jeans that are stretchy, but they're tight fitting at the same time. And he got this, right at the beginning of the video, he had this big tub of, I don't know, water, and he just pulled his jeans out and put it down there, and you couldn't see where it was. And it actually says it, the perfect jean stretches so your nuts ain't crushed. Makes your butt look great, softer than your stupid khakis. It's rude, isn't it? It's a bit rude. I think what I am looking forward to with AI is the robots. I think robots would be cool. That would be interesting though. See, I don't see as many of those posts as I used to do. So this is something that I don't really understand. The girl that's in The Last of Us, is it The Last of Us? They're really mocking her appearance, like online, and like, so that was funny. Okay, sorry. No, I'm saying it's just bad. I shouldn't be doing it. That is bad. I shouldn't be laughing at that. The thing is, you'd laugh at it. It's not. It could be anyone's face, and it'd just be funny. It's like there's so many jokes that you could just swap around. Like, oh, it's. For example, it's a funny joke, but if you added the character as being Jewish, the joke's still going to be funny, but it's got nothing to do with being Jewish. But then you're like, oh, you're anti-Jewish person because you laughed at that joke. No, but if you'd had it being someone that delivers potatoes, or someone that works in an off license, or a dustman, or it would have just worked just the same, just as funny. So yeah, I try not to get caught out by stuff like that. The best way to quickly speak a new language is with Pimsleur. But don't just take our word for it. So this is Pimsleur language programs. I don't know. Does anyone want to learn a new language? Anyone? I don't know. I'd like, because it won't be long, we won't need. We will not need to learn any languages, because all we need is an earpiece. That'll be it. You have an earpiece, I have an earpiece. In fact, we can already do it. It can already be done. There's actually there's an app with an earpiece that you can converse with someone in another language. It just interprets it. That's all it does. So you speak, I speak English, and then if you're German, for example, or French, you can hear in your ear what I've said in French, or in German, or in Geordie, or whatever. So, oh, Vinny's hassling me. Vinny, you got food there? Look, it's literally there. Look. Look. There you go. I can feed it to you if you want, like a little baby. Let me feed it to you like a baby. There you go. See, I try and give it to him, right? And he turns his head away. Don't turn your head away. Look. That's it. Look. Oh. Nope, he won't touch it. What about this one? This is nice and fresh. There you go. Look. He won't touch it. He's been off his food for a few days now. But he'll eat dry food. So it's not like he's not eating. He'll eat dry food. He'll eat chicken, and he'll eat meat and whatever. He'll eat my food, but he will not eat dog food, wet dog food, at the moment. Unless he wants to. He doesn't do anything unless he wants to, in all fairness. Yes, even a British Vogue writer thinks Gen X is cool. That's another thing on Facebook. Everyone's sneering at all the younger people. I don't know, like, but it's now everything's broken up into generations. Was it Generation X? You got the baby boomers, which was my dad's generation. Generation Z, is it? New Gen. I don't know what generation I was, because I was born in 1970. So I'm definitely not a baby boomer. I'm wasn't there one? Stop staring at me, Vinny, please go away. Stop staring. He just sits there and stares. I know you want to do something. I know. You haven't been able to go out, have we, yet? You've been in the garden, though. I think he might need to empty his bum. Vinny. You've been in the garden. He won't go in the garden. Mind you, the dog downstairs does, all over the path. Lovely. He won't go in the garden, will you, Vinny? All he done is a wee-wee. He's just staring at me with his big brown eyes, looking so cute. You do look the cutest. You are so pretty, Vinny, you know that. You're so pretty. But you know you are, don't you? Oh, he's seeing a fly. He's been distracted. Good. I'm just trying to think what other silly stuff is. This is weird because that's a bit rude. Someone's updated their profile picture and someone's laughed at it. Wow, that's a little bit rude. I probably wouldn't laugh at someone's profile picture generally, although my profile picture is me when I was about 10 years old. I don't know. I'm just looking through some of this. See, that's another person, Holly. Lady girl or female called Holly used to listen to me loads, but not heard from her. Still on my Facebook page. Ah. Oh well. So I feel like I've done most of what I need to do regarding all of the changes I'm going to make, you know, on my website and stuff. I think that's done. But I think that'll do for now. It's just sometimes you just got to make changes. You know what I mean, innit? Got to make things a little bit different. And what's better for people listening? It's, yeah. I mean, I know I started this off talking about structure, and in a way I suppose I kind of need some structure. I've been thinking about trying to get out. I don't mean just walking. I said the wrong word. I don't mean just taking, you know, Vinny out, but ideally I'd like to be able to go. Ideally I'd like to walk for a good 5 or 10 miles every day, get some food from the supermarket, come back, and just on a daily basis have that as the food that I'm going to eat. And the thing is, it means leaving him here, and he do not like being left here. He really do not at all. Oh, no. So that's something I need to think about. And also, if I take him with me, I can't go anywhere other than just stay outside. I can't go into the supermarket with him, which is a shame, because if I could, it'd just be easier. It'd be nicer, because you know, he gets so much attention, because he does. Every time he loves humans way more than dogs. So he would just be going up to everyone sort of to say hello. Now I realised that, you know, realistically, if everybody took their dog to the supermarket, it could be a bit hectic. Yeah, it could be. because you're going to get people walking in there with, some people walking in there with dogs that may be off the lead, or that are not trained, or maybe have problems. So yeah, there's always, I suppose, having that blanket ban, other than blind dogs, you can pretty much. So I don't think in this country we don't have emotional, what are they called? Emotional support dogs. Emotional support dogs. We don't have them in this country. Or it's we. I mean, they're not. They're not. They're not really classed as that, as far as being allowed into a supermarket. But I'm just checking this up. In the UK, emotional support dogs provide mental comfort to individuals. Okay. I mean, he is my emotional support dog, but at the same time, he is not highly trained. So he's very. How to register one? If I could register him as my emotional support dog? Eligibility for emotional support animal in the UK. So it's not just a dog. So you could get a chicken or a donkey. So types of emotional support animals, rights and responsibilities for emotional support animals owners, housing, travel, public places, responsibility, documentation. Ooh. In the UK, so I saw that there are no specific types of animals that are designated as that. Although, apparently horses are supposed to be really, really therapeutic. I've never touched a horse. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But I have obviously I've touched horses, but we used to have like a little field around the corner from, well, where I lived, and then my nan and granddad moved in, just round the corner. So I used to say hello to them and feed them as a kid, you know, because I remember always saying, don't have your hands. I think my dad used to say to my brothers, hold your hands out flat so that the horse can just take it off, otherwise he'll get your fingers. And he said that to my older brothers, and he said to me, just do what you want, Jason. You can give it to however you want. It's like, which I thought was a bit rude. And as I got older, I used to go around there. Even in my 20s, I'd go around there and say hello to the horses, because it was just on the underpass. There was a little underpass or overpass, whatever you want to call it, that was there. Because it was a new estate, new motorway, everything. When we moved in, it was all quite new. And yeah, I used to love going underneath. So the motorway went over, and the road that led into the countryside. So what is that? Is that an overpass or an underpass? I don't know. And it had concrete slabs and pillars and everything. And I used to go up to one side and just sit there. I did that when I was 7, all the way up to when I was 27. Honestly, I did it. I was still doing it in my 30s, probably 34, 35. I was still going up there and just sitting in exactly the same place. There's never anyone there. I think once there was someone there, and I didn't go up. But generally, there was no one there, and I did it for 30 odd years. Just going up and sitting on the right hand side. No one could really see me. I wasn't doing anything, just sitting there. Sometimes I'd lie down. It was a very quiet road, a country road, but it was a motorway that was going over, because it was a bridge. And right behind me that's where my nan and granddad lived. You could literally, if if I went round, I could have jumped over the fence and got into their garden. And it's weird because if I went up there now, I probably wouldn't climb up there and do that, because it might seem a weird thing to do at my age. If I got seen, would the police get called? There's an old man hovering, hiding underneath the bridge. He's an ogre. It's weird, isn't it? Never used to see. Didn't used to class myself as being old, really, when I was in my 30s. Not old, too old to be doing that stuff. But now, a few years later. See, emotional support animals do not have public access rights, which means they're not allowed in public spaces that do not allow pets, such as restaurants or shops. I've looked online to see if there's any places that allow pets. I mean, the local shops here do, or some of them. So the petrol station allows him to go in. The pet shop does, obviously. I mean, that'd be a bit ridiculous if the pet shop didn't allow dogs. And the pharmacy allows him to go in there. The sandwich shop, which some places don't today, but the sandwich shop lets me go in. But then everything's covered with plastic, so he literally is like a big screen. So Vinny, it wouldn't make any difference what was behind, and it's just a little space to stand as you order your food. The I don't know what you call it, Premier, whatever it is. It's like a off-license, newsagents, groceries, one of those shops, like a Happy Shopper thing. They don't like animals. They don't let dogs in. But sometimes if I'm in a bit of a... if I want to go in there and get something, I'll just pick him up and walk in. If there's something I need to get at the counter, I'll just pick him up. Because if I put him outside, he will scream. He doesn't like being left outside, not even for a second. And I did go into the other petrol station thinking, well, it's a petrol station. My local petrol station's fine. But I went into this other one, which is a little bit further up. The bloke, I didn't even get 1 foot into the door. No dogs allowed! No dogs allowed! Really had a little tantrum. And he's, leave your dog outside, tie him up outside. Luckily I was in a good mood. So, you know, I let him off. And I just, you know, went somewhere else. But it was like, there was no need for that, blimey. It was like 0 to 1,000 miles an hour, and like, what on earth's going on here? Not allowed, not allowed. It's like, calm down, man. Have you? I felt like going back, giving him my website address, and said, look, I make relaxing recordings. Maybe it's worth having a little listen. It may help you. I sound a bit like a Dalek then, didn't I? It may help you. Yes, it might help you. It help you. Help you. So, what have I got on this week? So Monday, for some reason I felt in a fairly good mood today. Not going to moan about it. I've got some stuff done, so I managed to get, you know, I did quite a lot of changes and stuff. Done that and uploaded all that and seen the benefits of that as well. Managed to reduce my outgoings a little bit, not by a lot, but you know, a bit. Also, I managed to get rid of Canva because I don't really need it anymore. I found a way of doing what I've been doing on Canva with a different way of doing it. So, and that was like editing suite, but I can now do it on ChatGPT, and I can get it to save it as a file that I can upload directly to the podcast. So yeah, that's all right. I'm quite pleased with that. I'll miss it a little bit, but I've been using it for many years. Many years. Purchase history. Let's have a look. How long have I been with Canva? Show more. That's weird. Why is it not giving me a date? Okay, I'm going to have to open it up. The date. We're downloading your invoice. Let's open the invoice. Right, that's not true. Well, it might be that the invoice is true, but that's not the... I've been with them longer than that. 17th of December 2022. Close this tab. Blimey, it's not letting me close it. 2024. How weird. All dates. 2020, 2018. No, nothing found. 2019. Nothing found. 2020. Nothing found. Oh, okay. 2021. Nothing found. 2022. So according to this, so let's say, yeah. So according to, oh, mind you, I was using it for free for ages and ages and ages. So yeah, probably using it for a few years before that, but just for free. And then I needed to do a bit more with it. So I had, it was the 17th of December 2022. And I was paying, at that time I paid £10.99 a month. So I've been paying that every month, but the price has gone up over time. As a 2025, the latest one was £13. So it's now £13 a month. So I managed to reduce that, so I got that off. I'm not going to be transcribing anything anytime soon as well, so I'm going to leave that for a while. So I got rid of that. That's 20 quid a month. So just little bits and bobs, you know, little bibs, little bobs, making a few little changes. I did think about trying to get back onto my university course, because I feel kind of ready to do that now. I can kind of maybe get on with that. So I had to pull out last year. But I don't know why I'm laughing at this, but they flagged me. I had a flag which says no, you're on our danger list, you're on our people. I don't know, no, not danger list, but because of last year, they've kind of, I think they might have put a block on me. So it's probably going to be a phone call, a necessary phone call, maybe. We'll just see. But right now, I think I have to take the Vinster out, because he's being a little bit that's in it, Vinny. You do it now. Go on, Vin. So you won't play along because you're listening. You won't play along, but I bet you as soon as I stop talking, he will start whining. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to pretend that I've finished now. So I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to do the whole thing like thanks for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. and also be gentle with yourself, because you do deserve to feel safe. And so thanks for listening. Lots of love. Bye. What? What? What is it? I thought you were going to make some noise, but you're not. Of course I'm not. I was literally just listening to you. Why would I do it if you want me to do it? I know. Sorry, Vin. Right, I'm really going now. See ya.